Hello and welcome back to another episode of Diablo to D&D. My name is David, and today we're going to go over the changelog for August 18th. I am going to skip the campaign update this week. Not much happened. They're still in the sewers, but we spent a lot of time going over some of the changes, or some of the abilities that I made for the Barbarian in the previous week, so not really much happened. Alright, let's jump right in. For the Necromancer, amplified damage now works with all sources of bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, not just from weapon attacks. For the Barbarian, battle command no longer increases the DC of saving throws. That was a big change because I realized that literally only the Robe of the Archmagi actually increases spell save DC. So, yeah, sorry. Also for the Barbarian, battle command now lasts 1 minute instead of as long as the creature has the temporary hit points from battle orders. It's a buff. Like I mentioned in the previous video, the benefits being tied to the temporary hit points are really, really bad. Also for the Barbarian, battle orders can now be used any number of times per short or long rest, but a creature can gain the temporary hit points only once per short or long rest. So this way, if you have somebody come join you, or someone summons a creature, or something like that, then those new additions would be able to gain the benefit of those temporary hit points. For the Druid, Vine Improvement now restores a number of hit points equal to your proficiency bonus in d6s instead of half the corpse's hit dice, and restores a spell slot of a level less than your proficiency bonus instead of the use of a class ability. You now also have to see the creatures. So this is a change to nerf the crap out of these abilities, but also to bring it more in line with the new design philosophy. So I realized I had still left it with the restoring a class ability, but that gets really wonky and weird because, if you have the ability to cast, say, a 9th level spell, like if you had like the D&D clerics divine intervention, then you would be able to get 2 divine interventions, back to back, or like I think it's limited wish, I think, from the Genie Warlock. But anyway, so just going back to the spell slots is just way better, way easier to manage. Speaking of that, for the Paladin, Meditation now restores spell slots rather than race, class, or feat abilities, and only on a 20 instead of a 19 or 20. It triggers on any expended spell slot, but restores up to 5th level. Its improvement now has the creature roll twice and choose one result instead of granting advantage. So what this one does is it restores spell slots up to 5th level. I think that's the cap for most restoring spell slots, is that they only go up to 5th level. As for the improvement, technically advantage only works on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. So technically it didn't do anything because you can't have advantage on just a roll a d20, but I decided I might as well put this in here because technically it's a mechanical change, even though nothing really changed. Just proper wording. For the rest of these, it's all the Paladin. Vigor is now affected by a lack of food and water. Concentration now adds your charisma modifier to weapon attack rolls made with a disadvantage, and no longer makes weapon attack rolls with disadvantage not affected by advantage or disadvantage, and its improvement gives weapon attack rolls with disadvantage an additional die, and the creature chooses 2 instead of granting advantage to all weapon and attack rolls. So this is weird wording, so let me run this by you. So what it used to do is it made attack rolls with disadvantage not have advantage or disadvantage. It nullified disadvantage completely. In this way, you still roll with disadvantage, you just get a bonus to the roll. concentration in Diablo has a chance to be uninterruptible, which means that you can't be put into hit recovery if you get hit while doing the animation. So that's kind of what I was trying to do, is mimic the idea that you're more likely to hit. But removing disadvantage completely is pretty powerful, so I made it tie into your charisma. For the improvement, what it used to do is just give all weapon attack rolls advantage. And now instead, it still works off that disadvantage, but now you roll 3 dice and choose 2 instead of rolling 2 dice and taking the lowest. You still, have disadvantage, but now it's kind of the lucky feat, sort of. I didn't want to say you get to re-roll 1 die, because if you re-roll and you end up with a lower roll, like it kind of got weird. So the roll 3 drop 1 is better, I guess. It's easier to process by the rules. Prayer can no longer use the creature's constitution modifier, just clearing up bits and pieces of wording. Technically, it's a nerf because it used to do the constitution modifier or your charisma modifier, whichever one's higher, but you're the one giving the ability, so I decided to go just with that charisma modifier. Invoke element now triggers at the end of your turn instead of at the start. This is one I could revert. The idea is that if you switch to invoke element, you won't have to wait until the start of your next turn to deal the damage. It gives it a little bit more usefulness, but also it gets a bit weird because it's at the end of your turn, and you can switch to an attack. You can have an attacking aura on, and make your attacks and then switch to invoke element and get the benefit for that little bit of burst damage. But then again, next turn, you have to switch back to that attacking aura if you want the benefit. So I could see it going either way. As for the last one, Vigor now affects all movement speeds, not just walking. It's minor, but if you have a fly speed, if you have a swim speed, it works for that too. All right, some pretty good changes, I think, here. It's really nice to see that some of these are coming along pretty well. I went through, I think pretty much everybody. I didn't do the necromancer so closely, but I went through the assassin, the Amazon, the barbarian, the druid, and the paladin, and just kind of figured what needs to be changed and where some of those rough patches. I think this one got most of them. The paladin is almost completely ready for an actual launch. It's been close for quite some time. I think this is one of the last few passes that I'll need for its actual release. Anyway, I will end it there. You can contact me at XenozFan2, that is XenozFan2 on Blue Sky and Reddit. And you can contact the channel directly at Diablo, TODND, on Blue Sky and YouTube. Thank you much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one ever.